This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by Darren Barker here in Sheffield. Darren, always good to see you. How is life treating you?
Yeah, very well, thank you, mate. Another show. We were just talking there, having a bit of a laugh about the hotel rooms that we've stayed in over the last, what have I been doing this now, 5 years. It's been a lot, but do you know what? I genuinely mean this. I get the same excitement every time I turn up at a show, like a buzz. I really, really get excited. So this is another one that I'm really looking forward to. We heard Eddie talk about it yesterday at the presser about there being a lot of 50-50 fights on this card, and that is the truth. He said himself he thinks there's going to be a couple of upsets here, not the whole home side are going to win. And that's what you want to see in cards. You want to see that surprise, if you like. That's what makes sport so great, especially boxing, that every now and again the underdog does win.
Let's just start touching on that card. Let's start with the main event. Dalton Smith, Jose Zepeda, fantastic fight. Dalton stepping up now to world level. What challenges does Jose Zepeda pose to Dalton? How does he come through the toughest test of his career so far?
Experience. He has fought at a level beyond Dalton Smith. He has fallen short at that world title attempts, 3 of them, but he's a very good fighter, and I tell you what, he can really, really punch. On the flip side, I think this is good matchmaking in the sense that it's the right time for Dalton Smith to step up, and he fights southpaws so well. I think he's fought 3 in his career, and the most standout performance against the southpaw was the Samo Maiden fight. Look, I'm not comparing Samo Maiden to Zepeda, but still, the way he dealt with that southpaw problem, if you want to call it that, was exceptional. So much variation with the lead hand. He can't miss with the rear hand. It's a really good fight. It's a dangerous fight, but it's a fight where I think he's really going to make a name for himself, not just in this country, but across the pond, Dalton Smith.
So there's been a lot of talk about the Azim fight as well, Darren, but say if Dalton comes through Saturday night unscathed with a W, Adam hasn't fought to that level yet. Does that fight somewhat fall by the wayside a little bit because Dalton will then look towards world honours?
Yeah, I think so, which is a shame because I'd love to see that. We love it when we see these big domestic fights. But yeah, you win the WBC silver, there's a very good chance that you could be in the top 5 thereabouts in the WBC. Then you're knocking on the door to eliminators and potentially world title shots. So yeah, it does. Why would you sort of go back? But that's not saying that fight can't be made one day. If Azim keeps winning, keeps looking good, say Dalton Smith in an ideal world wins a world title, that fight becomes even bigger then. So yeah, look, what will be, will be.
Ishmael Davis versus Troy Williamson, a personal favourite of mine on the card because I'm intrigued to see how Ishmael steps up again. A very good fight.
It is. Look, we will find out how good Davis is. We know how good Williamson is. Tried, tested, former British champion. He knows what it takes to win a fight of this magnitude. Davis doesn't. Looked to get good against McEwen last time out, but this is a different kettle of fish. It's a really good fight. This is one where you could say could potentially be a 50-50. You know, the experience, the know-how, and the size, the power of Williamson versus that, I don't know, potential pedigree from Davis. There's a real chance that he could go on and do really good things, but we will find out if he's got the capabilities on Saturday to do that.
Sandy Ryan versus Terry Harper, Darren. Got a little frosty up on stage between the pair.
I love this fight. I really like this fight. It's like you say, it did get a little bit frosty. First time we've really seen Terry Harper get involved, and I think that shows confidence, maturity, and experience, which he has in abundance now. 2-weight world champion, aiming to become a 3-weight world champion. It's so impressive. But Sandy Ryan, the big question, is it a good time or isn't it a good time to be facing her? I think the last time she had a hiccup, the loss of Farias, she come bouncing back. She looked better than ever, adjusted and got the win. Very, very unlucky against McCaskill. I thought she won that fight. Showed some real good skill in there. There's a lot she could have done, but now made a lot of sacrifices, changes. So we will find out if it is a good time to be facing her. It's a really, really good fight. Again, Terry Harper now down at a more natural weight. I've heard her say that this is the weight that she feels good at in the gym. So expect to see the best, not just of Harper, but Sandy Ryan with all the sacrifices she's made.
And of course, final one to touch on, James Flint and Campbell Hatton. Another step up now for Campbell. That step up everybody's been waiting for. Does he fall short? Does he overcome the challenge of James Flint? What happens?
No, I've just got this feeling that Campbell Hatton's gonna shine and get a finish, an inside the distance finish on Saturday. I could be wrong because Flint can really fight. He's got good variation in his work. He's quite happy to box and move. I heard him yesterday say to Campbell he wants him to stand in the centre of the ring. Well, I don't think that's a wise move. I think that will play into the hands of Campbell Hatton. His best chance is to move, be elusive and make Campbell Hatton fall short, which we've seen him do quite a lot in his fights up to date. So it's an intriguing one, that. It's Jamie actually come out with some really good stats yesterday. It was the same title that both Matthew and Ricky held, the Central Area Super Lightweight title. He come out with the days as well, 9,000 whatever days it was. But still, what a kind of bit of history to hold the same titles that your dad and your uncle held. And it's your first title. I remember winning the Southern Area title. It was my first title, and it meant an awful lot to me.
Darren, just moving away from this card, always a few other topics I want to get your thoughts on. There's been a lot of talk about the Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia fight. A few people concerned for Ryan, given everything that he's been posting over social media. Don't know whether you're in and amongst the social media world these days, but what are your thoughts on the fight, and if you've kept your eye on any of everything that's been going on?
Yeah, but look, I've been shown some of the stuff that he's been coming out with, and it is a little worrying if I'm honest, but is it all mind games? Is he doing this on purpose? You don't know. I've also seen clips of him training his nuts off, so I think it's probably a bit of a ploy. I may be wrong, but we will find out. It's a brilliant fight, you know. Old amateur rivals now fighting again in the pros. It's a mouth-watering clash. It really is. I favour Haney in the fight. I think Haney is so hard to beat. He has an experienced defeat, whereas Garcia has. So I have him a favourite there. I'll definitely be tuning in if it goes ahead.
You going to be there?
I won't be there, unfortunately. No, I'm on these sides. Yeah, I would love to be there. I love New York as well.
Away from that one, it's been a few weeks now since Anthony Joshua produced that sensational second round stoppage victory against Francis Ngannou. Him and Ben Davison really working in tandem now. What do you feel like Ben's brought out of Anthony Joshua?
Some real spite, and I think I think almost simplifying things a little bit, and I don't think there's a drastic change that needed to come from Anthony Joshua. I just think a lot of belief, and I think they do a lot of video prep with Lee Wiley, and I think they've just looked back at not just his opponent's fights, his fights, and said, look, this is all you've got to do. Turn through the shots a bit more, believe in yourself a bit more, bring your feet in a little bit more, and we've been seeing that certainly since that knockout of Alania's. He brought that into the Wallin fight, and then I mean, it was a complete and utter mismatch against Ngannou. I think some of the people out there that thought Ngannou had a chance look a little silly now. But you still got to beat who's in front of you, and he couldn't have done it in any more emphatic fashion. It was the heaviest, hardest, most brutal, vicious shot I've seen live. It was the noise it made, and when I was so close to the action there that when you see a man of that size fall on the floor like that, not only does the ring shake, it's quite frightening, I've got to say. So the combination between the two is fantastic, and it's exactly what AJ needed.
I've seen a few people suggest now that their opinions on a potential Fury-Joshua fight has changed on the back of AJ's back-to-back performances from that Wallin fight and Ngannou. How much more do you rate AJ's chances if we were to see a Tyson Fury fight at some point, say later this year?
Yeah, for sure. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be a different kettle of fish fighting Fury, who will be on form if he fights AJ, if he gets past Usyk. But yeah, you'd have to give him a huge chance against Fury.
Just away from that one again, moving forwards, Canelo versus Munguia. Darren, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I like it. I remember speaking to John Ryder at the Reece Bellotti Liam Dillon show. He was on before the bell with us, and off air I asked him about Munguia, and he's straight talking, John. He said he's a very good fighter. He can whack, very, very good. But I favour Canelo. I do favour Canelo. I just think, I don't know, I just think he'll find a way. It could be a little close on the cards. It could be one of those, didn't he win? But I just think low centre of gravity in comparison to Munguia. I think he'll land some good body shots. Yeah, my gut says now, from not really going into too much research on the fight, I feel Canelo will probably come out on top there just.
On social media, Canelo and David Benavidez, there's been a few kind of words, not necessarily exchanged between the pair of them, but in their own interviews and what have you. Do you think Canelo's avoiding the challenge of David Benavidez?
Nah, no, I don't. No, I can understand why people think that, but I think the fight will happen one day. He's starting to get a bit wound up, Canelo, isn't he? And I think he'll take the bait in a bit and take that fight. I'd love to see that fight. That would be in one of my top 5 fights that I'd love to see, including Canelo Munguia. I think it's a brilliant fight, I really do.
Just a couple to quickly end on before I let you go to work. Wardley, Clarke next weekend. Who comes out on top?
Do you know what? I love both these lads. I really do. Good blokes, and it's a brilliant fight. One I can't wait for. He's probably going to come after me, Clarke, but I fancy Fabio in it. And it's a lot of people may be surprised because of the pedigree, amateur pedigree that Clarke brings into the fight, the size, the power, the physical presence. But I just feel he's not going to stop letting his hands go. He'll show no respect to to Clarke, Wardley, and I think he's going to come away with a win. I do. Sorry, Fraser, don't kill me.
And final one, just to end on, Taylor Catterall 2 postponed, but we see it on May 25th now. Who comes out on top?
For some reason, I feel like there's a trilogy in this, and my gut's kind of saying Taylor, but I rewatched the fight the other day with the man to my left, Mike Costello, and he boxed really, really well, Catterall. He really did. The way he sort of dictated the distance, the space with that lead hand, and I don't know, it was an aggressive, fast start from Taylor. He'll have to do something similar. Yeah, my gut's saying we're going to get a better performance from Taylor, and selfishly, Taylor wins, we get a trilogy, and that's what I would love to see. So yeah, I'll go just 51% Taylor.
All right, Darren, I don't want to keep you too much longer before we both start getting told off. Thank you.
Cheers, mate. Thanks, Anne.